Hello, hello. How are you guys today? Welcome to this full moon tarot energy report. So I'm going to do a psychic check-in channel, touch base on some of the energies that I've been feeling. And in alignment with my last reading, the energies are so potent, so intense, that I've also been having a tough time staying grounded and staying balanced. So I find myself also going into, revisiting the past in a way in which it's coming from a place of fear that I don't want to repeat mistakes of the past, and looking at my relationship with myself and the universe and going, okay, like I'm not really too stoked about some of those experiences that I went through that caused a lot of pain and a lot of grief, and was very difficult to extract the lessons from, in terms of, when something happens for us, it's up to us to investigate and discern. And there was just 111 on the timestamp there, what we can learn from that experience in order to actually have a better experience in the future and to become a better version of ourselves. So when that happens and when we're in it, it can be very difficult to see the silver lining, so to speak. And I feel like many of us are going through our own personal, kind of like the great catharsis in terms of what spirit and universe or God, whatever it is for you. Hi, Kathy. How you doing? Thank you for coming on today. It's going to be a big one. When we're in that energy, it's so challenging. It's so difficult to understand why things happen the way they do. And yet we all understand and realize that there's such a grander perspective and viewpoint than we can ever have, because we're only experiencing from our own situations, relationships. We don't have the grand, viewpoint perspective. We're not omnipotent. Omnipotent. And so that can strengthen or it can erode our trust with the universe. And you can oscillate back and forth between the two. If you're a healer or if you're an entrepreneur, say you're a coach, and your job is to kind of stay on top of the energies and really process them and dive deep into them. And you hit some roadblocks where, in order for you to present yourself, you might feel like you have to pretend everything's all good and you're good and but what we've learned is the more authentic we are, whichever role we occupy in terms of what our service is to ourselves and to others, it's very important, and especially now, to stand up in our authentic power and in our authentic truth. So I will never come on, and you might love this about me and you might go, oh, here she goes again. But I will never come on here and tell you that I'm doing great and I'm doing awesome, and that the knowledge or wisdom that I bring forth comes from me, cruising around on a unicorn with rainbows and butterflies flying around. No. The greatest, wisdom that I can acquire for myself, which I can then share, and other people go through these experiences too and share them with me. And I'm so grateful for that as well. And there's always this rotating energy of teacher and learner. And what I'm saying is, I believe, and this is just my belief, that it's important to share the truth, whatever it is. So I am experiencing these energies deeper than I've ever experienced energies before. And at some times I feel like, whoa, like there's salt water in my lungs. Like, the grounding, the meditating, it just seems too much. It's overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed with all of the choices, the energies, clearing the past, looking forward to the future, standing my ground, standing my truth. It is a lot. Now, we also have to recognize and remember that this time is essentially an entire cellular renewal. So the reason why we are being asked to go deep, deep, deep into those core wounds, those wounds that are embedded deeply within our subconscious. And this is the painful work. This is the agonizing, excruciating work, because we need to identify on the surface what the weed or plant is. Then we need to actually dig. And we need to dig so far that we get to the root of the issue. And that root could actually be from childhood, or it can be from lifetimes ago. So you might have a root core issue. Ooh, that was kind of neat. I'm not sure if you saw that. Spirit saying hello. So you might have a root core issue that spans lifetimes if you believe in reincarnation. So it's very important to be very kind to yourself while we do this deep, deep cellular renewal and deep core wound activation, so that we can make repairs and see from a different perspective, because the mind is a very powerful force. The heart is a very powerful force as well. If you have someone coming all from emotion, all from heart, it can be very exhausting and overwhelming for people. But if you have someone coming just from the mind, just from logic, you might not even be able to connect with that person, because you're like, where are you from? Like, what are you doing? Like, this is okay, I'm going to stay away from you. So there's this polarity energy, and we can see that being reflected in the collective, yes. And it's our kind of responsibility as little private detectives to look within ourselves and really go, okay, where am I polarizing my own issues? Where am I looking at myself in ways that I no longer need to be occupying that space? Let me see if I can word that better. I think what we're doing right now is rewiring our connection to shame and selfishness. And it might sound like a paradox, but selfishness, for those who are generous, overgiving, or those who take, it's kind of one and the same, because I heard a quote this morning, and it was saying that being not enough, feeling not enough, and feeling too much are actually, the same core wound. And that ties back into this shame and selfishness energy, because if you were a child or you learned and you perceived and you have a subconscious belief now that you can't ask for what you want, or your needs aren't met as a child, then you actually go through life feeling like the universe doesn't meet your needs because your parents didn't meet your needs, or you were put second, third, fourth, fifth. Someone else came first. Someone always came first other than yourself. And so this is why this is a very deep core wound. And if you did a lot of work, and say you went to therapy, you did some counseling, you read some books, you might have looked into narcissism, empathy, you might have looked into the victim consciousness, you might have looked into the spectrum of the victim and the perpetrator being on the same spectrum, and or the empath and the narcissist being on the same spectrum, just at opposite ends. And really looking and digging a little bit deeper and going, how are these things mirrored within me? Those things that I despise most or judge or criticize most in, that person who triggers you, to actually look inside and go, where is this operating within me? So if we take that example and say you have a friend or a person in your life who takes, and you see them as very selfish, and you're like, how can you be like that? And yet you're on the other end of the spectrum, and you're overgiving and you're enabling, and you're going, okay, I'm just giving, and I only get validation from giving, and that's part of my identity. And so without taking or giving, both of those individuals don't understand their inherent worth. And that's what we're trying to get back to, is our inherent worth. You are worthy without anyone else's approval. Without your earrings, without the home, without a car, you are worthy just by being you. And this root issue comes out in so many different ways, and it just plays and contorts, and it's, you know, this puppeteering energy where we don't even really understand and realize how powerful our subconscious is, and that it kind of dictates and overrides certain things. So now we're reprogramming, rewiring, restructuring those energies and going back to ourselves and understanding I have inherent worth. I am worthy simply by being. I don't need a partner. I don't need a house. I don't need a car. I don't need any of those things that society or, you know, other people have taught that I need to have in order to be respected, valued, or worth time, energy, attention, or love from someone else. So, I mean, we've heard it before, but sometimes you hear it and you're on layer 1. And then you hear it again and you go through some life experiences and then you're on level 10. And then you hear something else and you're going, whoa, I didn't see it from that perspective before. And then you're on level 50 and you just keep on peeling back the layers. And you guys, it is intense work. And please be kind to yourself. This is one of the biggest things right now, because we can easily get sucked into a little bit of a whirlpool or vortex here, because there are things that are happening out of our control. And there is a lot happening in the collective. We are being asked to use our voice. We are being asked to take off the masks. We are being asked to listen more than just having our point come across or dictating a conversation or making sure we have the last word or really feeling that need to be right. That also comes from that lack of self-worth. So if you're not right in a conversation, on an issue, then what does that mean for you? Why is there competition there? Why do you have to be right? Why do you have to have the last word? These are questions to illustrate that it all comes back to a root cause. Because if you understand that your opinion matters, your voice matters, and you have value even if you don't control someone else's opinion or belief. You can't change their opinion or belief just because you think it's right. So that also comes back to control and trying to control situations because we don't want to feel vulnerable. And that is a really big part of what we're going to be moving into here now and in the future, is really listening to people, really listening to their experience, not to come back with how we see things, not to override their experience and go, no, that's not how it is. You must have experienced your entire life wrong. So coming away from that arrogance and actually being proud of who you are and being proud of your ability to listen to other people and understand that there's different viewpoints from your own. And this will actually dig really deep. If you are a person who judges and criticizes other people, you most likely judge and criticize yourself to a very high regard. And so this also weaves right back into that judgment and criticism. Because if you can see yourself in other people, even in the dark shadows. So what I'm saying, as an overgiver, I look at takers and I'm like, how could you take? How could you take so much from someone? That is awful. Now, I'm looking at that as I am superior. And that person, their taking, came from the same core wound space that my enabling came from, right? So you don't have to accept shitty behavior. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can relate and you can actually check in with yourself and go, whoa, okay, there is a mirror here. I'm blaming someone else or I'm looking outside of myself. And I can actually find that wound within myself. And I can take this opportunity to heal that wound within myself. Because if you want to change someone else, if you really want to change someone else, you really have to look inside at what you can change within yourself. That's the only thing you can do. So you have a lot of power in that. You have a lot of power in your words. You have a lot of power in listening Because when we're just trying to beak off with one another, I am superior, I am superior, I am superior. This is why I did this. This is why I did this. And you're just whoosh, 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 tit for tat, going back and forth. Well, there's no room for safety. Do you feel safe in an argument? Do you feel safe in conflict? If you're just trying to, have a one up on the other person, always trying to go for domination and control. Well, I don't. And we can fear conflict. So I'm not saying conflict avoidance is the answer here. However, in order to actually get to the solutions, it's really important to listen to what the other person is saying. And that is also, part of the energy of red flags. Part of the energy of red flags is we don't listen. So we bypass them, right? We just stroll along. We ain't listening because we want a happy ending. So that same energy applies to red flags. We don't listen to something. We don't listen to either our mind, our heart, our gut instinct, or all three. Or we don't listen to someone else's mind, heart, gut instinct, because their actions and their words will reveal certain elements or qualities, fears. And if you can come to a place where you actually feel safe exploring your own fears, and you can be vulnerable and understanding your own fears and where they come from, and when you can recognize that those people that bother you the most, and this is like a deeper layer of that concept of, if someone's angry, that means you're angry. Well, yeah, okay. I've never liked that tit for tat mirror analogy, and I am using it right now, but I'm trying to use it on a much deeper level. So it's not so easy to say that, one thing equals the other. However, there will be a network that ties something within you to a wound or trauma or a trigger that gets riled up and needs to defend or guard on a certain issue. So it can be a lot of different energies around a certain mirroring complex, but you will find that those people who have the capability to hurt you the most, they're actually very similar to you, and they are very different to you as well. So just take note of what's operating in terms of shame and selfishness, and asking for what you need or having your needs met, because there's a lot of evolution and growth happening there. And we're really being asked to let go of the old, but what does that actually really mean? Well, we're actually reprogramming and rewiring on a cellular level. And so part of it is conscious and part of it is subconscious. So part of it we need to recognize and surrender to and investigate. And part of it we just need to allow ourselves to go there. We can allow and surrender and say, okay, universe, I'm not sure why that happened, and I haven't grasped the entirety of that lesson yet. But I know these things about myself, and I recognize these lessons about myself, and this is what I have learned, and so let's go with that. Show me what I need to see in order for me to move forward in my highest and best. So if you are in fear of repeating the past or making mistakes, or you feel immobilized and yet you feel stagnant, just know that you are continuing to work through these energies, and the full moon eclipse season and energies will be assisting us in understanding and getting clarity on how to take action once we have really cleared those roots, those weeds out and gone, okay, and surrender them in a gentle way. And this does include forgiveness of the self. It's not about anybody else right now. Forgiveness of the self. So one other thing, and I think I may have covered this, but in order to actually get to those stages, we may also be asked to check in with ourselves and see where we are self-deceiving. This one is a really tough one because, like I said, we only see through our own lens unless we're listening to others, family, friends, people we really trust. And I don't mean listening for their approval, listening for their perspective, their experience, the way they've lived life, the way they see things differently. You don't need to take them on as your own, but you can go, oh, interesting. Because you might find that someone looks at you and they're like, oh, you're amazing, you're talented, and you're going, I suck, I can't do this. And they're going, what are you talking about? You've been so strong and empowered. And they're looking at you in a totally different light. They don't have the negative mind reel that you have created. And so it might be a nice idea to check in with people you really care about, who you know you trust and care about you, and just be like, no, I'm all good with receiving some nurturing, some love, and some positive reinforcement here so that I can continue on my journey and go to the next level. One other point I kind of thought about when I was on the beach yesterday, which I just want to tie into this channel in the beginning, is that overgiving and overtaking in and of themselves is an undervaluation of your self-worth. And if you can see that, if you're overgiving or you're overtaking, you're actually stating to the universe that you're not enough. You're not enough just as you are, because you have to overcompensate. You have to overgive in order to get something or receive satisfaction or validation. And the other, overtaking, they have to overtake because they don't have self-empowerment. They don't have the self-worth that they are okay just as they are as well. They don't need to take from someone to be empowered and strong and, you know, have their needs met. So it really all kind of boils down to, what are our true needs when we're not self-deceiving, when we don't have a mask on to impress others, when we are standing in our truth, and we don't seek outside validation. So this is huge. This is massive. And so if you are feeling the pressure of it all, remember to breathe. Remember to breathe and try to come back to yourself. Try to come home to yourself. Because what some of these energies do is they create an energy of running from one thing to the next. We're always thinking that something else is going to be better. And that is also running from yourself and running from the truth of yourself. So if you can sit with yourself right now, wherever you are, whatever choices you have, you might have 15 different choices. You might have one big choice. You might have 5. Everyone's in a different position right now, depending on their soul path. But if you can actually find a way to check in with yourself and go, okay, I'm home. This is where I am, no matter what my circumstances are. And I'm going to actually pull all of my energies together. I'm going to ask for help where I need it. I'm going to take the time to find silence, find nature, to meditate, to exercise, so that I can clear up some of this mucky energy and come back to myself and come back to my truth and come back to my reality. And I'm going to make decisions from this grounded, empowered place, recognizing mistakes of the past, recognizing lessons I've learned, now more aware of conscious and subconscious patterning, and really come from a point of trust in myself that I can make these decisions. I can make good choices, and the universe is supporting me. Even if the universe, up, down, strength, challenge, empowerment, weakness, vulnerability, arrogance, pride, whatever, we know that it's not necessarily going to get easier, so to speak. We're still going to have lessons. We're still going to have joy and despair. Those cycles, they always happen, because change is the only constant that I can see. It's everywhere. It's all the time. Change. It's impermanence. Impermanence is actually the constant. So getting on board with that is tricky when we all want to control everything. But just know you are doing so amazingly well, and please hang in there. If there's suicidal thoughts, if there's energies of, I cannot do this, if I cannot go on, it's too difficult, it's too much, either if you are at risk of self-harm, please reach out to a medical professional and or family members, and don't beat around the bush. Be like, straight up, I am fucking overwhelmed and I can't fucking deal with this. And don't try to hide it under something. If you're there, please ask for professional assistance, because this energy does have the capacity to bring someone down, because it takes a community. It takes that solidarity. It takes that unity energy to hold each other up in these times. And so if you feel like you've been segregated or cut off, then it's really important for you to put those tendrils back into your support system. Reach out. If you haven't been connecting with people because you've gone inward, you contracted, you're guarded, we all do that. Reach out, because those people who you trust and who are there for you, who say, I really need your help right now, most of the time they're going to heed that call and they're going to see the warning. So please, 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 if you are in that energy, reach out. If you are still in that energy of overwhelm, but you don't feel you're at risk of self-harm, it is still important to connect with those friends and connect back into the grid in terms of your community support, your tribe. So let's continue to hold each other up. Let's continue to stand in solidarity within our own lives and then the greater collective. And then we can stay in that love energy, love for self first and foremost, and then love for what we can all stand for in terms of bringing change to these outdated systems and really operating from a place of fear and turning that, transmuting that, alchemizing that through courage and bravery, and perseverance, turning that into operating from a place of creativity and love. And that is taking full responsibility for your power in life and the power that your words have and the power that your energy has in connecting with people. So I feel like that's everything that I wanted to touch on today. And I don't feel like anything else is kind of coming through. I just, breathing, and I don't mean that in any way that's negative. I just, it's really important. It's really important to take those deep breaths. And it's really important to be grateful for that. So I'm just going to have a sip of tea. You go ahead, have a sip of tea as well. Who do we have on board today? Say hi. I had Kathy earlier. I can never see who's online. Don't know if you guys know that or not. But I actually can't see who's online. So if you want to say hello, I do pull personal cards at the end of my readings. I do have a Facebook page, Kindred Heart Tarot. If you'd like to donate, I have a donate button there for PayPal. And of course, my scheduling is also set up on Facebook there too. I used to have an amazing website, but for whatever reason, I just took it down. I just decided I didn't want to have it anymore. So if you want to book with me, you can do so through Facebook for a private reading. But I do little card pulls at the end of each live when I have the time and the energy. So if you do stick around for the end, then you can have a personal card pull. And I usually just pull one card there. And for everyone who has donated, thank you so much. It really does support the work that I do. So thank you so much for doing that. And let's get into these energies, because this full moon is crazy. And we all know, the astrologers and, spiritual community, we know the importance of these eclipse seasons and the potency, and we can feel it. Change is in the air. We can feel the power of that. Yes, there's chaos. Yes, there is, fear energy, but there's also unity, and there's also solidarity, and there's also fighting for what's right. So let's get in there. Let's dig in there. So I'm using the Spirit of the Animals Oracle, Jody Bergsma, the Shapeshifters Oracle, my new deck of cards. It's Mike Dooley, the Messages from the Universe. They're the ones that have the little sayings on the back and the front. And then I'm also using Wisdom of Avalon. So here we go, guys. This isn't our past position. This is what Spirit wants us to know to help guide us through this time, because it is so challenging. Inner knowing. You are a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. We've all been in this cocoon, you guys. And we, for personal reasons, each our own reasons, have been asked to rest, rejuvenate, connect, introspect. I was trying to say introvert for a minute. My brain was like, what are you doing? So introspection and really looking at our life up until now, like really doing a full life's review and being reborn while we're still alive. So really having a transformative symbolic death midlife or wherever you're at on your journey, and being reborn into something new. And that includes a new perspective on how you see the world. So what I noticed the most about this is Spirit is saying your soul does know the way. So continue to ask your soul where it wants to go. Continue to ask your soul what it wants to experience next. Because, you know, when we are in a situation like this, it's easy to be forced into the mind and go, okay, well, you know, make a pro and cons list and do this. And that is really important. And that's perfect if you're going to merge that with your heart and your gut intuition. But this is also reminding us, you know, you're ready to fly. So don't stay in that shell, you know, too long, or else you're kind of disappearing. You have to re-engage with life, and it's time to fly. So not only have you come out of that chrysalis, you know, not only are you now a butterfly, you have been transformed in your own life. You are a different person than you were 6 months ago. It's time to fly. And Spirit will help us get to our destination. So if we're in a lot of worry, if we're in a lot of doubt over finding our path or moving to the next phase of things, Spirit's also asking us to release that doubt as much as we can. Doubt is natural. Doubt is healthy in some capacity, right? But if we allow it to consume us, and our only focus is on the past or on the pain or on what we can't do and feeling immobilized or stagnant, it's really hard for us to feel empowered in that energy. And it is about us empowering ourselves to the next stage, to fly. So from this deck, we have You're Being Watched by Loving Eyes. This is so sweet. I actually pulled this in my own personal reading. And it says, what if you're actually an ancient gladiator of love and joy who agreed to visit Earth during these primitive years? I love that, primitive years, to spark some new thinking, share a few smiles, and help others discover they too are awesome. Just saying, the universe. P.S. Up for a joust? Of course, with rubber thingies. So you are being watched by your ancestors. You are being watched, you know, by starseeds, light workers. They're looking at you going, holy crap, that person is a warrior god or goddess. And they are doing amazing. So the crazy thing is, even in your weakest moment, even those moments where you're like, I don't want to be here. You don't feel grateful. You don't feel excited to be here. You don't feel excited for your next step. You're like, I'm done. You know, I've already done all the things. I've done so much work and it never feels like things pan out. Well, even there, you are being heralded, you know, as this ancient gladiator of love and joy, because being here is the biggest challenge. So recognize that you have loving support on your side. So let's see, what do we have from the shapeshifter? Butterflies in gloom. This is so beautiful. And this is in our past position. So it means we did end a cycle. We did end a cycle within ourselves. It has nothing to do with the outside. Within ourselves, we ended a way of thinking, a way of behaving in the world, or a way of seeing things. And this could be victim consciousness. You've stepped out of victim consciousness and you're moving into an empowered place where you speak your voice, you stand in solidarity, you are open to learning or seeing or listening to other experiences. And the big picture is not just about you, it's not just about your thoughts, it's not just about being right. You are moving from grief, you're moving from pain, from suffering, from loss, from heartache. You're moving from something in the past to a better future and a better present. So this one really is saying after sadness, happiness, and hope return, and resonates to the number 22. So, you know, Spirit hasn't forgotten. Spirit understands and knows that you have gone through deep, deep challenges and recognizes that that is a part of your spiritual growth, but also that, yes, it can hurt. Yes, it can take time. And yes, it is worth it to deconstruct and dismantle those energies which keep us undervaluing ourselves and the power we hold in this experience. To clarify that, we have partnership, 32, resonating to the number 5. This one is talking about, friends, family. This could even be referencing partnerships that led you to this catalyst moment where you said no more. No. Because those people, you gave them the opportunity to do the exact same thing. Whether they took it or not, that's their stuff. But you took the opportunity. You took the opportunity in that partnership, and you have now decided for yourself, no more. I come first. I'm inherently valuable. My time is actually equal to your time, energy, and attention, and I will not undersell, undervalue, or settle any longer. So that's a very beautiful, beautiful partnership energy. And also talking about the partnership with spirit, right? We are in this together. We have chosen certain experiences to go through, and that's George beaking off back there. We have chosen some of these experiences, and we might question ourselves and go, why on earth would I have done this? Would I have chosen this? And it might take 5 years for us to actually understand the gravity of the situation and the empowerment and, the guts that it took to actually step out of something that wasn't working for us, or to dismantle toxicity within ourselves in order to actually move into and step into healthier partnerships and a healthier partnership with ourselves. So really understanding that, love and in partnership is an extension of the love that we hold within ourselves. So really a beautiful energy coming through there as well. So, hey, George, did you have a good time barking out there? I gave him a little haircut, and that's pretty hilarious. So, COVID-19 haircut by Mollie. All right. So what do we have for the present? We've got Wolf, Pathfinder, and I love this because George looks like a wolf. He has these beautiful brown eyes that I, love. And Wolf is part of my power totem pack energy. So it says Pathfinder. This is the second reference. We're all asking, what next? Where do I go? What does, this next stage in life hold for me? I'm not interested in repeating the past. I'm interested in healthier relationships, healthier relationship with myself. So what does this all mean? Release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So your love and your empowerment and your strength is very important. You have no idea. There can be family members, friends, people from afar who might stumble on your Facebook page or your Instagram or whatnot. And you might say something one day that saves someone's life, and you'll never know. You might bump into someone at the grocery store and you hold the door open for them, or you even just connect, you make eye contact. And that perhaps saved a life, or that really reminded someone that there is connection in this world as well, So really understand that you, even if you don't feel like it, you are capable of starting on a new journey. You are capable of starting on a new path in spirit, God, or whatever it is for you, universe, the energy that is, higher and all-seeing. We have help. We are connected. We're connected to this energy within ourselves, and we also have this animal totem energy to assist us as well. So you can call on the wolf spirit to help you find your path, to help you move forward on this path, because it is, like a newborn baby is very vulnerable and requires assistance from everything. So, if we're on this path where we have just been reborn, we have this rebirth energy, and we have gangly little legs, and we're looking around and we're going, okay, how do I do this without fear? How do I do this from a more loving perspective and loving myself and listening instead of needing to speak all the time, really making all these huge fundamental changes? It can be difficult to see yourself as empowered or strong and want to persevere. But Wolf is saying you do have the energy, the power to release the pain of the past, the burdens of the past. That's amazing, higher self. I'm glad you tuned in today. Welcome to the channel. So And also magic and the secret power that you hold within yourself. Your love is very important. Your love is very powerful. So when that is dimmed down by burdens from other people, other people's opinions, other people's preferences, other people's ideas on how you should live or how you should be, when you drop those burdens, when you release those burdens, you're opening up, it's like you're opening the windows and letting fresh air in, okay? And that's part of what we're doing on this new path. It's our path. It's no one else's path. So, whereas before you might have listened to other people and go, okay, I'll do this, or yeah, okay, I'll trust your opinion on that person and not your own opinion, your own heart and your own gut instinct. Well, now you're like, no, I am the compass. I am the filter. I will ask, if I want advice, I will ask. So I'm not just in the habit of receiving unwanted opinion or dictation of what I should do with my life. So this is a beautiful, beautiful energy for self-empowerment and a reminder that you do have the power, you do have the commitment, the consistency, the inherent love and the inherent capacity to start new, to head out on a new journey. All right. And to clarify that, we have everyone is doing their best. This says there are really only two types of people, those you now love and those you will love, until there's only one type of person, and then we'll probably hit replay, the game of life, the universe. And what that really is saying is that if you think you lost love, and I think I talked about this on my last reading, love is infinite, okay? So you never lost it in the first place. If someone loved you, that love still exists. And this is an infinite cycle. So when it says, there's only two types of people, those you now love and those you will love, and then it gets reduced to just love, right? We don't have to discern between the two. And then we hit replay, so we come back and do it all over again. Maybe for some of you, this one's being, living life is difficult. It's a challenge. We have so many ups and downs. And it does say, the game of life. So let's hope we're playing the game well. And everyone is doing their best. So it is important as you're setting out on your path, and you might, hit some resistance from others wanting to control your life or thinking they know better, wanting to be right, kind of playing with those energies that you've now stepped out of. So they're on the journey, but you have come through it. And now you're being asked to be a leader and a role model and embody those energies instead of just having them kind of in your mind space. So now you're asked to embody them, which is the next level of responsibility. So everyone is doing their best, okay? So trying to stay in a loving place for those who are still acting out of fear. Yes, you can stand your ground. Yes, you can speak your truth. You can call them out. And if we want to use, standing in solidarity and racism, or any other ill treatment to people, any other inequality that comes from a place of prejudice, you can stand up for that. If it's your uncle or a friend, you can say, no, I'm not interested in having this conversation. I'm anti-racist and I don't think what you're, you can stand up for it. Now, also be aware of that right and wrong. So if someone doesn't want to listen, they're not going to, and you can't change that. But you can speak your truth and you can stand up for what you believe. So everyone is doing their best. So whilst you are embodying your values, try to remember that we are all in this together one way or another. And it is important to just recognize that most often the biggest nasties are the most wounded and insecure people. So let's go clarify this energy as well. Oh, we've got the Frog Princess. Ooh, Lordy. So this says, heed wise counsel, listen. Okay, so universe is really putting a reminder on there. We have to listen. We don't know it all. We might think we do. We might have, okay, I figured this out. You might have a situation, a conflict situation, a relationship, or, you're making choices and you're discerning this new path. We don't know it all. We have to listen to spirit, listen to the clues, listen to the animal totems, listen to the angel numbers, listen to everything you can in order to garner some extra information. Now, to be honest, this card kind of throws me a little bit because we have the frog prince, right? And so the story and the understanding of that, what I think of is you might have to kiss a few frogs to find the prince, but also that looks are deceiving. Like there's something that is not apparent here. There's something where there's either self-deceit or deceit from another self-deceit masks, where there's something that's not quite being shown in its truth right now. And so we have this with the Pathfinder. Let me read that again to see if there's another clue here. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So the wolf is also a hunter as well, right? So hunting for answers, just keep your ears open. Don't stroll past those red flags. We'll see what the clarity is for this card, but let's read the Frog Princess. And this is from Lucy Cavendish, because I've gotten this card before, and I thought, well, our own intuition is our highest intuition that we have. However, Spirit is kind of saying, yeah, but if you're coming from a perspective where there's an untruth or self-deception, then you're not seeing things clearly. So I had a note here. Let me see if I can just quickly find it. I don't think so. I think it'd be too much to root through this. What are you telling yourself that isn't true? So I think this connects to this energy. So we often believe we know much more than we truly do. There's always a time when the right thing to acknowledge is, I do not know. So we can even find our path with the Pathfinder energy when we do not know. So we were asking our soul, sing me home. Where does my soul want to go? There is no shame in that. There's no shame in not knowing, or in having a strong, resilient, and rather undercover advisor who hides her credentials. Your advisor will not necessarily wear a suit or have the robes of a guru, but he will be able to clarify things for you right away. At this time, release your attachment to your own intuition. No matter how exalted and wise you are said to be, you must listen to advice from a wise and somewhat unexpected source. So in life, we are never all-knowing. We might come to a point of mastery. We might look up to people and go, ooh, that's a guru. That's that person has achieved this. We might go to them for something and they might not have a clue. And so this is saying Spirit is going to provide you with this counsel. So listen. It's important to listen because this information might come through someone who doesn't look like an advisor, a teacher, a coach, a spiritual intuitive. So listen and pay attention even when it doesn't look. There we go, people. That's how it happens. There's the aha moment. So if you see someone, they give you advice and you're like, you a frog, bro. Like why should I listen to you? No, that frog is a prince. That knowledge, that wisdom is very valuable and important. So don't just, flick it off into the distance or toss it back into the pond because you think you know better. So be teachable. So it says, no matter how exalted and wise you are said to be, you must listen to advice from a wise and somewhat unexpected source. No matter how well-informed or educated I am, I know it always serves me to heed wise counsel. Therefore, I've sent you my own wise advisor, this handsome green frog. People may wonder why you have such a different energy around you when the wise counselor frog visits. This is because you're receiving profound guidance and no longer accept at face value what others tell you is best to do. This is totally in line with this reading. With his presence, you'll be able to see the possible ramifications of the suggestions and advice being given to you by people who are keeping their true motivations secret. Some people want you to do things because it suits them, right? Or it feeds into their idea of achievement or accomplishment, especially when it comes to parents, right? So most people have an agenda, and many times they are not open about what they desire. So they're not being clear and honest with why they want you to make a specific move. Instead, they will tell you why what they want you to do is good for you. It is good for them too. And the counselor frog will, like Merlin to Arthur, tell you what is really going on and offer you truly healthy advice that has your best interest at heart. Look out for the color green and notice if it rains. They are signs the little green frog is with you. Just gotta take a sip of tea here. It is not time to do what your heart, mind, or any other part of yourself tells you to do. Now, I'm a little bit standoffish with this message, so you guys have to discern and take it as you understand it. And feel free to post comments too about how you interpret this section of this card. So it is not the time to do what your heart, mind, or any other part of yourself tells you to do, because we are not seeing something clearly. No matter how much people try to persuade you that you know best, and no matter how much you believe that the frog appearing to you here tells you that there is wise counsel around, and it is worth staying quiet, listening to what is suggested by others, then talking it through with a trusted advisor. It is not the time to think it over yourself. Ooh, throat chakra. So saying this is totes for me too. It is not the time to think it over yourself because you're missing very important points and there's something you are not seeing clearly. The more you listen, the more productive, healthy, and true your actions will be. It does not matter what you think you know. There is more to learn. Listen to wise counsel, no matter how important you are. So this does come with the arrogance and pride card. If you think you know everything, you're going to walk into a fucking trap, man. This card and the wolf, the Pathfinder, is just saying, if you're not willing to accept wise counsel and heed advice, and this isn't from someone, so there's a very clear caveat here. This isn't from someone who gets anything out of what you do. This is a third party. This is like random counsel. This is someone or a conversation you overhear that spirit is sending you as a synchronicity. Okay, so there is something we're not seeing clearly. You know, I was called to read that passage there. So if we go mind, heart, and gut instinct on this, based on the information that we have, we might just hit a road bump. Like all these cautions, you know, we can make our way through challenges. But at this point, our energy is very potent and we don't want to be wasting energy at this time. We need to be very efficient with our energy. So it does say, the more you listen, the more productive, healthy, and true your actions will be. It does not matter what you think you know. There's more to learn. Listen to wise counsel, no matter how important you are. So that's a pretty big one. If you think you know it all, if you think you know everything, you're in for a nice little surprise. However, if you are able to listen to wise counsel and understand and ask spirit, ask yourself, you know, what am I not seeing clearly? Because obviously it's meant to be this way. You're meant to be kind of like ding, 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 with your little blindfold on, cruising around, because it's asking you to listen. And that is a big part of what we've been talking about in this reading already, is listening over talking. And I fall into this trap too. I really like to talk, right? It's part of what I do. It's part of my healing. It's part of my business. It's part of who I am. However, there are times that I do like to talk over people. I do like to get my point across because I think it's important. Yes, well, that's great if someone's asking for your opinion or paying you for a service. However, it's not always about being right. It's not always about having the last word. We don't need to control other people's beliefs. We can stand our ground. We can stand our truth. However, this is very wise energy where we recognize and realize, you know, I might be a master in a certain energy because I've experienced certain things in my life. And so it would be wise for me to heed the counsel if I'm setting out on a path where I haven't experienced this before. I'm on a new path, a new journey. I'm spreading my wings for the first time in this new energy. It'd be very wise for me to recognize I don't know. Okay? I don't know how to do this, right? I am not a master in this energy. I am a sacred fool. So be aware and be respectful of that fool energy, because that fool energy can create some of the most magnetic, amazing, powerful projects, energies, collaborations that can change the world. So that fool has a lot of power, just as the master does. And what this card, I think, is saying is there is a master who's coming from the future, so to speak. They've been where you're going. And it's important for you to listen. So if some weird circumstance happens, some happenstance, some synchronicity, some magical moment where you, like I said, you overhear someone talking in a cafe, or someone behind you, or someone overhears you and they offer their opinion, and you're kind of like, color green on the rain and the frog, just kind of play with it, just go with it, see what spirit is bringing to the table here for you. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. Yeah. And you guys might notice too, like I'm noticing in my, even though I'm struggling, and I shared that at the beginning, even though I have moments where I'm like, this is total insanity. Like, what am I doing here? Like, this is so challenging. There's this energy of the spirit really quickly answering my questions. So I'm literally just chatting about the Fool energy, the sacred Fool energy, and what card do we have. And I don't want to show you you guys the cards, but how I do it is I actually have them not flipped over. So I flip them over as I'm going through the reading with you. So I don't know what is in the future position right now, and I didn't see this one beforehand, but this is the novice, this is the fool. So it says innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skill without practice, and unstable curiosity. And this is the number 5. We also have that partnership card which resonates to the number 5. Okay, so we are going to be working with people, right? This isn't just us against the world. We are going to be receiving assistance, guidance, new team members, tribe members. This might also include romantic partnerships. If you've been receiving signs of that, then it's also important to stay open to letting people in and being a little bit more vulnerable. So this novice energy, it is about being a little bit foolish. It's being open to be a little bit vulnerable and moving forward on our path. So, just understand that as we're moving forward here, we can call on that wolf energy. But as we're moving out on this new path, we're not doing so as masters. We're doing so as sacred fools or the novice. So it's important to heed wise counsel and to not necessarily see things at face value. There's more underneath. And I'm sure if you are intuitive, or if you are also a tarot reader, channeler, psychic, you will have received this message over and over again in the past 6 months. All is not what it seems, right? There is something underneath, and it still is. The universe hasn't shown us yet. So, it's revealing little bits at a time as we can handle it. But there's still a very large truth or truths to be exposed for us to receive better understanding. And so all we can do, I guess, is honor that sacred fool in ourselves and go, okay, I don't know. And I'm doing the best I can here to move forward on my new path and my new journey and persevere through some of these challenges. So let's see what's on the future. Hilarious. Persevere through some of those challenges. Perseverance, right? So you're powerful right now. So if I'm mirroring your energies and you're tuning into this reading right now, you are also very powerful. Your words are powerful and your manifestations are powerful. So we're learning how to manifest better than before. We're learning how to manifest not just from the conscious mind, but we're learning how to manifest with the subconscious, with our spirit, with everything on board, with our body, mind, with our spirit, right? So there's a lot of different levels of manifestation, and we're moving into the next level as well. It says you have many gifts. No problem can withstand the power of your mind. And the ram here, this is a special shout out for Aries and fire sign there, but also any animals who have, the circular horns or the horns like moose antlers, elk antlers, deer antlers, it's all a sign of having a special connection to the, Father Sky, Spirit, the universal realm energy. So it's an extension of our physical kind of body, so to speak, and our intuition. So it's really important to persevere and also remember that you have so many tools at hand. You really do. So you have your intuition and your truth and your, physical health and well-being, and your mind does have a lot of power. It says, with patience, you can reach your mountaintop. Never give up, and good luck will follow. I helped a little ladybug escape the house today. So good, that's a sign of good luck. So good luck is, rewarded with all this effort. And we do have the water in the background here. And I've been feeling this too. If you guys are water babies like me, make sure to have a bath or just have an extra shower, or even just as a calming mode, do some dishes or just run your hands under a faucet, or, if you're by the ocean, just go dip your hands in the ocean. Stay connected to the water element, because that can help soothe and ground you with some of these more potent, chaotic energies happening. But you do have gifts, and those gifts are continuing to be harnessed, for service. And in order for you to be of service, you really need to be in a place where you're kind, where you're at peace, where you're in a sanctuary in your own home, in your own body, right? So that sanctuary comes first before any other physical manifestation of that. And so just be aware that you are continuing to heal and strengthen yourself in all ways. So you have what it takes. You got what it takes. It's cute. And it actually is blue and looks like there's a little couple bubbles in there. So it's reminding us of the water. Always follow your heart unless it's been broken. Then you must lead it back into love, the universe. P.S. Did you know that hearts are never too big to mend, too small to rebound, or too tired to love again? This is cute. Perseverance. So in the future, it is saying we might be asked to open our heart again. So if we have been heartbroken or we've experienced grief, pain, trauma, this could be from a relationship, this could be from a parent passing or a friend passing. It could be just overwhelm in general with COVID-19 and all of the things happening. It could, be the injustice in the world and systemic, privilege and white supremacy. It could be, so much of this is affecting all of us on different levels. And so, at some times we do need to persevere in order to move forward into new love. We do need to, it is, standing our ground and saying, no, I will love again. No, I do believe, I can trust. I now have better judgment. I now have better, tools to discern where people are deceiving themselves and therefore deceiving me. And when you come from the most honest version of yourself, then you can also, you're not deceiving yourself that you can settle for less, or, that this person is going to work for you. So you're not wasting anyone's time, including your own. So this one is saying, if your heart has been broken, if you're moving forward and you feel wounded, it will take perseverance and it will take patience, but you can always love again, even if it doesn't feel like it. So you have what it takes to love again. You have what it takes to step out on this path again. You can do it. Let's see what the shapeshifters say. The fairy ring. So resonating to the number 10, new beginnings, new skills, advanced training, rapid improvement. So once we change our mindset, once we accept certain advice from the world or wise counsel about how we've been seeing a situation incorrectly or not quite right, we've been deceiving ourselves in some area, then we're going to experience rapid improvements. So new skills, advanced training, rapid improvements. And we see, there's all sorts of little fun things going on here. We've got the frog in the background. We've got butterflies. We've got a little bunny rabbit. We've got a chipmunk and a mouse. So, this is teamwork. This is camaraderie. And this is also accepting other people's differences as well. So let's just do a quick peek for the fairy ring. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just read this part here. We are fairies, and our role is to create the growing world. Everything is changing, which is true. We can see that on a very large scale right now. Our world is full of danger because the trees are being severed from their roots and the animals are leaving. The flowers and the blades of grass are trusting in us to learn how to cope, survive, and yes, thrive, even under these bleak circumstances. While it may look fun and like we are merely putting on a show, we are also learning how we will keep the wild ones free and safe when the machines move in. So rewilding ourselves and distancing ourselves from oppression. We will never give up the wild places, and we will train, learn, and understand the enemy to understand those who would harm, intentionally or not, the places and beings under our protection. And intentionally or not is important because, especially in relationships, there might be people who hurt people due to not knowing themselves or understanding their power. And it's still important to stay away from those people because they will drain you and hurt you, and that's not fair. So it says, we will do what must be done to save our friends. The shapeshifters are helping us evolve, and you too must ever evolve, learning new skills and train practically to become able to live in the world of changes. Do not grow sedate and lazy or complacent. Become alive and feel the excitement of training. So they are, I think it's a little quick caveat here. When we are struggling, it's an easy time to distract ourselves. This could be through sex, it could be through alcohol, it can be through food, it can be through a number of things, right? And you only know how detrimental those addictions and or distractions are. They can be detrimental and harmful on a number of different levels to yourself and or others, especially if you're wasting other people's time, energy, or attention. That will garner you some karma to balance out. So be aware of your addictions and distractions right now. So if you're numbing, sedating, it's time to engage. It's time to take responsibility and check back in and understand that you have the power to, and I'm not addressing people with severe addiction issues right now. This is more of a warning or a heads up that when we're under extreme duress or pressure, it can be in those times that we want to disengage, bow out, hide forever. And what that means is we're at higher risk of actually creating an addiction or creating more trouble or problems for ourselves that we will only have to dismantle and dissolve in the future. So if we can acknowledge the challenges, we can acknowledge the hardship, and yet we can also say, I'm going to take care of myself in this, and that's also a very powerful choice and responsibility. So it says, become alive and feel the excitement of training. Learn new skills and practices until every part of you, from your leg and hands to even your eyes, hurt. For with this ache comes the knowledge that you're preparing yourself to discover a new path in this ever-changing world. So right back to that pathfinder energy. All right, clarifier. The water fairy, feelings and emotions, also resonating to the number 10. So when we're learning these new skills and when we have come from heartbreak or an energy situation that we required perseverance, it really took a lot to, follow our path, get up to the mountain, face our fears, face our shadows, and really work on ourselves. The water fairy, the feelings and emotions, kind of reminds us we do have to tap back into our emotions. We can't numb everything out. Emotions are a huge part of our life and a huge part of our empowerment. However, we also can't allow ourselves to just be, drown in our emotions, and it can't all be about emotions. So we do have to remember that balance that, and when we think about the tarot, and I've been working on this myself, each suit has their queen of water, queen of fire, queen of earth, queen of air. And you might go through times in your life where you're actually in the energy of one more than the other. So right now I'm in the queen of air energy. I'm a little bit guarded. I've got my sharpened sword of truth. I'm not interested in people who are wearing masks, who are lying, deceiving, and bullshitting. I'm just tired of it. And I'm also a very water-based person. So I have a lot of emotions, but I've recognized now that I can't get overwhelmed by my emotions, but that my emotions can actually overwhelm other people as well. So if I'm in a balanced space with my emotions, then I'm not overwhelming myself with them, and I'm not overwhelming others with them. The same for all the other suits, right? So if you're more of a Queen of Pentacles, you might be super focused on the material world, and maybe the other spectrum of that is going into materialism or superficiality. So if you go all that way, you might not be prioritizing relationship, and you might be leaving people out in the cold. So it's all about balance. And with fire too, right? We've got the passion, the energy, but you might be flighty. You might not be able to commit to anything. So it's about balancing all of these energies. And so this one is about balancing the water realm, balancing the emotions. So I might just quickly peek into that card, see if there's any other messages that want to pop out, and then I will do, if you want a reading, I see Kathy, I'll pull a card for you, but if there's anyone else that's watching and you'd like me to pull a card for you, just post in the comments there, yes please, and I will be happy to pull a card for you, and then this will be our full moon energy report. So it says, when the water fairy swims up to you with her liquid magic, she reminds you that emotions and feelings may be running the show. So this is in our future position. So responding rather than reacting, listening rather than, having to talk back or have your point come across or be right. So just tying in all the energies of the reading. She asks you to consider how you really feel about things and why. She also reminds you that you are not your feelings. You are the one experiencing them. Oh, it's just 11111 on the timestamp. Remember that as water flows, emotions change. The water fairy also tells you that it's time to lose your rigidity. Be fluid and willing at times to compromise and allow change to happen. So this one is really cool because we're in this energy of empowerment, standing our ground, speaking our truth, letting the masks fall off, persevering, stepping out on a new path, being in that fool energy, heeding wise counsel and listening. And we're also being asked to lose the rigidity. So there's a lot on our plate right now. If you're happy right now, enjoy, for the water fairy swirls her love around you. If things are making you sad, she comes to wash away your tears. And we had this card in the beginning. So we are moving away from heartbreak, grief. We're moving away from disappointment to more happier times. So we can see that it's a little challenging getting there. So the water fairy knows the power of emotions. So when she appears, be mindful of them and how they affect you. So this is apart from this reading, but I'll bring it in anyways. If you have received energies or messages that there may be people, actually this was part of the reading, so it is pertinent. There might be people that want to stand in your way, that want to thwart you just for fun. Like they just want to, see you fail. So just be aware that if they know you, or if you were in a relationship with them or whatnot, they might know exactly what buttons to push. Now you'll have a choice of whether to fall back into the old reaction state or whether you're going to try something new and go, okay, cool, or not even answer. You're just like, bye-bye, see you later. Or you might want to have that conversation, but if you do have that conversation, it's going to be with clear, assertive communication, boundaries, and also, no mask, but you're also going to be listening. So really listening, what are they actually saying? And you're not going to be reacting out of emotion. You're going to take the time. You might even say, I'll get back to you in a couple days. I need to think about this. You're going to take the time for you, putting you first, and finding a way to respond in a balanced emotional way. So it says, remember, feelings are the fuel for manifesting. Be certain that you want to create what you're feeling. Allow your feelings to pass through and focus on the positive. The water fairy longs to smile at you in reflection. So like I said, we are learning how to manifest with everything, which is crazy because I don't know how to do that. I don't know if you guys do, but I have got certain levels of manifestation that I can see in my physical world. But there's deeper levels that I feel like I'm working with right now, starting to understand the deeper levels of manifesting in terms of that feeling, in terms of the subconscious patterning. Okay, so if you want, we'll do a card from Wisdom of Avalon or the Return of Spirit Energy. So if you want to, there's the vacuum again. It's every time I do a reading, the vacuum comes out. Subconscious? Oh, I think so. All right. So if you want one or the other, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to choose for you. But that was a pretty big reading. So I hope you guys have an amazing day, whatever you guys decide to do. Once again, find your own peace, and you might oscillate in between different energies here, of course. But let's do Kathy. This one is going to be for you. I'm going to use the Return of Spirit, the Shirley Harnish cards. So this is for Kathy for her highest and best. Oh, that one. Okay. Oh, I got this one the other night too. This is awesome. Union. Look how pretty this is. It's so beautiful. So this one talks about not only merging, like being one within yourself, like really coming home to yourself and having that divine masculine, divine feminine energy. But I'll read the card out to you because it's quite beautiful. And I got it last night before I went to bed, and I just was just like, oh, thank goodness. Felt a lot of relief. So I hope you feel that too. The union card represents the energy of two loving souls coming together in union or in partnership. If a current relationship is in question, then this card indicates a positive energy is involved. This card can represent the beginning of a new relationship or one that is about to start. Most often, the union card represents intimate relationships. However, it can also point to other types of partnerships, such as business partners, very close friendships, or even roommates. In any case, the union card communicates the predestined convergence and soul connection of two individuals. Whoever that person is, so whoever the person is that is in your life right now, or whoever it is that is coming into your life, is of great significance. This could also be this prince that looks like a frog. And remember, we did get the partnership card in the general reading. So whoever the person is that is in your life right now, or whoever is coming, it's going to be great significance. This is a beautiful opportunity for your personal growth and conscious expansion of your heart center. Remember, we're in this Fool energy. So this person, whoever's coming in is going to be helping us on this new path, this new phase of our journey. So this is really big evolutionary growth for this. And I do feel like this is pre-planned for us to go through these challenging times, and for this person or this energy representation to come in at the perfect and right time for us, where we need to focus more on teamwork and heal through love a little bit more than through suffering and pain. So sometimes these relationships bring up our deeply held beliefs about the quality of love we feel we deserve. They can help to raise our consciousness and understanding, so that we feel safe to allow this person to see into the deepest, most vulnerable parts of ourselves. And this is also, I think, part of the water fairy too, right? And you have what it takes to love again, to open your heart up again. So it is going to take a lot to open our hearts again, especially if we felt betrayed in the past and lost a little trust along the way. So it says, enjoy all of the good this union has to offer. This is a gift from the universe. Be as open as possible to recognizing your triggers, fears, and old patterns of behavior. Be mindful of when you are feeling the need to hide or protect yourself, or if you begin to fear losing their love. So if it moves into that attachment or trauma bond energy, this will enable you to consciously address and heal any old issues and wounds of the past. This is a part of the soul agreement that you and this person share. You have come together to help each other to become whole, healed, and open to love in a new way and in every way. This is really cool. I'm actually super stoked about this energy. I don't know about you. I'm looking at this as a full positive. Bring it on. I am guarded and I've got my little sword. Pew, pew. But if there is that person, destined to come into my life, agreed upon, then that person has I'm just going to say it, balls, to come towards me, even if I've got that sword of truth out and sharpened, because that person is going to be honest. That person isn't going to be wearing masks, so they don't need to worry about, whether or not they that I might chop their head off. I'm just saying. That's some of the Aries slash, the Queen of Air. But I've also an Empress, so I've got a little bit of every, element in there: fire, earth, water, air. So this one is for you. There we go. And, ooh, hello. Such a cool, I love this deck. I love the colors. Let's see if I can, there we go. Change of mind. Did you get this one last time? I know this one's come up in reading before. So let's see. What do we have here? What is this energy? Because of COVID-19, quite honestly, when I do my readings, this is the most talking I have done in a very long time. I had a conversation with my cousin the other night. It was 2 hours long. And I could barely have, I barely had a voice after. And I think that's really interesting and telling. But anyway, let's read the card here. Okay, you never got it before. Good. Let's take a looky-loo. This card comes when we are in the process of moving into a higher level of cognitive functioning. That's what I was talking about, the cellular healing. This is a direct effect of the shifting vibrational frequencies on the planet. Those who are ready for these new frequencies will begin to notice changes in their physical and energetic process. So this is also reminding us that it's hard to let go, because we're not just letting go of a person or a relationship. We're letting go of everything we've ever known. So it's big. This is why. So the card signifies a shifting of your conscious functioning. Your cognitive processes are beginning to operate within the field of the higher frequencies. This can be seen as a change in your perception of how you view yourself, how you view this world, and your understanding of your innate connection with Source. And that was talking about, that love too. Those you now love and those you will love. The infinite nature of love. And that is talking about the connection of Source as well. So you may find yourself making decisions based on abstract knowings. You will start to understand the underlying causes behind the actions and behaviors of others. You will find you are clearer in what your own truth is and feel more empowered in it. The information will be quickly processed and sorted. Your thinking will start to encompass the bigger picture and understand how you fit into it. This is a part of the process in becoming an open channel to and from the divine. The division between thoughts and intuition will begin to fade as they blend into one cohesive faculty. This is big. And it is a learning curve. I've just started to go through this myself. And it's a learning curve because before you try to discern, what's my intuition and what's this? Well, now it's like it's working together. So now you have to pay more attention, but there's more information coming through. You might find yourself in a bit of a brain fog as this frequency shift completes. It is normal to experience forgetfulness, mild confusion, time passing quickly or slowly, or doing things you would never have considered before. There could be mild irritability and a lack of patience with yourself and others. Do not worry if you find yourself frustrated with your mind's inability to process information quickly during this time. Once the energy shift is complete, you will be mentally clear and vibrant. And that energy shift could be, obviously, in direct relationship with this full moon and the eclipse portal season, right? So it goes all summer, but it is activated and starting now. So big energy, big, huge shifts and great information for anyone who catches the replay and hears those messages. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like I said before, for those catching the replay or who haven't already subscribed or liked the channel, I'm grateful for all your support, and you can find me at Kindred Heart Tarot on Facebook. There's a donation button there if you'd like to pitch in for coffee or tarot deck or whatever it is for you. Thank you so much for those who have donated already. Really appreciate that. That is awesome. And I will be doing a June energy report, and then I'm also going to be doing the weekend report as well. But I might do it on Sunday. We'll see. I'll let you guys know on the Facebook channel. But thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good day. Take care of yourselves and heed wide candle. Be open to learning, be open to listening from somebody who may not seem like they're your go-to person, but they're going to have some really great information to help you discern where you're not seeing something correctly, or not seeing the truth of something, I should say. All right, so take care, guys. Ciao for now. Bye.